Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL 44 coming at you another video. All right, so the Lakers are interested in Nas Reed, and if you follow BDL 44, that is terrific news on this channel because we've been talking about how much we like Nas Reed of the Minnesota Timberwolves for about, I'd say, 4 years. We've been mentioning Nas Reed's name on this channel, so obviously, I've dropped the ball in regards to asking the Lakers to take a look at Nas Reed as a free agent. Every time it comes up, I forget to turn on the camera, or every time something happens, I'm not actually in front of a camera to where I can tell you guys, yo, this is something I've been hearing about for the last couple of weeks. It is something I've been hearing about for the last couple of weeks. Um, and I'm big on it. I just simply hadn't had a chance to talk about it. So, Nas Reed is a guy who the only concern I would have about Nas Reed right now is the fact that he's coming off an injury. Um, and that injury, if I'm not mistaken, was a broken wrist. So it's not nothing knee structure, shoulder structure, nothing like that. You would think that he'll be back from that 100% next season. As to which, if there's no setbacks of any kind, you'd expect for him to be the same offensive rebounding, defensive, stretching the floor, strong center size guy. He's really going to help us a lot if we sign him. Now, I don't know what his contract is going to look like. The framework of what the market wants to give him is probably not something that I can really tell you. Maybe in the range of what you would think we would give Brook Lopez, maybe like 16 million plus, something like that. I know Nas is coming off a really good year, but he's also coming off that injury, so I don't know how that's going to affect that free agency. But uh, with the news coming circling around that the Lakers are interested, I am too interested. I want the Lakers to definitely sign Nas Reed. He obviously feels a need, a double threat, and somebody who's comfortable coming off of the bench, but also somebody you can very easily slip into the starting lineup. If you want him to play some center for you, he can do that. For AD to play the 4 spot if you necessary. If not, you can have him coming off the bench in the same role the Timberwolves have had for the last couple of years, and he can continue to be one of the best 6 men in the league, power forward type of guy who could score the ball a lot and just continue to just basically be a steady double threat every night, stretching the floor. So I'm super thrilled about this. You guys know that I'm big on Nas Reed, and I'm hopeful that the Lakers will be able to work something out that will make sense for the team. Keep Rui Hachimura and obviously Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Now, what I also like about the idea of bringing in Nas Reed is he will allow us to take our time with LeBron James and Anthony Davis in regards to their foot injuries, and if they're going to need to take some time off, start of the season to heal. Maybe we want to bring down their usage. This will allow us to have a mainstay piece in place that we definitely want to give minutes to every night, that we definitely see ourselves playing at a pretty solid high level every night. An excuse to allow those guys to sit. It's a necessity for a piece like that in your rotation. You don't have him playing 15, 20 minutes now. So that's one of those situations where I really like what that means for us overall. And I think he would be a good use of our cap space for sure. I hear the Lakers are working out some players in regards to the range, the 47 range. I didn't write down any of those names. I'm sorry, I didn't come prepared, but I know that they're gearing up for the draft and for the after draft, which is where we really shine. Undrafted players that we can bring in off the strength of our scouts and just allow them to bring us whatever it is that these players can bring to the table. Hopefully, fill some needs. So this is my favorite time of year for those guys. I think they're going to shine as usual. I have no question about our scouts. I'm very happy to see the type of players in the range of 17 that I was able to do some homework on today. I encourage everybody to go check out that video I did earlier. Had a lot of fun making that. And you know, I think that our scouts are going to knock it out the park. We have some really good guys that we can take a look at there. I just watched another mock draft. In this particular mock draft, they had us taking Chris Murray, Keegan Murray's brother. Left-handed Keegan Murray is what he was calling him. And I just like that piece a lot. If we were to pick him up, he's not somebody that I love in that range of 17. But if we were to trade down into the mid-20s and he's available, that would be a steal, in my opinion, at that range. But there's so many different players to like in that range that you're going to leave someone on the board that you really like at 17, no matter what. you best believe you're leaving somebody you love on the board. And that's the thing about this draft. And then first 3 picks are solidified. The first pick is historical. Wembanyama's a Spur. After that, you're not really sure what's going to happen with Scoot or Miller, right? But for those who say this is a 3-man draft, that is false, man. That is false. It's just a uniquely structured draft to where you have very clear separation between certain tiers. But the fit is funny based on how the lottery select is now slotted. You got the Hornets taking the 2nd pick and overall. That makes it kind of weird because they don't really need the piece that Scoot is, but maybe they could use Miller but don't love Miller as much. There's a clear separation between Miller and Scoot in most people's eyes, with Scoot being the better player but not necessarily the better fit. Then when you got with Portland, with the 3rd pick, they're looking at a situation where they're probably likely to either want to move that pick or not necessarily want to pick somebody that's going to take some time to develop. And the players in that range, they may not want to go with. Now, Miller seems like a safe pick for the Portland Trailblazers if they want to move forward, especially if they want to go the route without trading anybody. Miller allowed them to slip him in at the 3 spot and just can go forward with what they have. So maybe you see them settling in on Miller and just letting it be. After that, for me, you have a lot of really, really, really desirable players to get at the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 range. And the strange thing is the Houston Rockets are a team that could trade out of that range because they're trying to get more mature. They're trying to get older. They're trying to win now. And the player that's slotted in the position that they are in is a player that you're going to have to wait on. Amen Thompson is the guy that's actually in that position to be the 4th overall pick on most consensus. He's the wrong guy for the Rockets for a multitude of reasons. So you can go Cam Whitmore, which a lot of people like a lot. I think Cam Whitmore would be a fantastic player. But for the Rockets and what they need, he's still got the same problem. You still got to wait on him to become what he's going to become. And ultimately, he's not necessarily the piece that they need, I don't think. I don't even really know what the Houston Rockets really need, to be honest with you. But I can tell you if their intentions are to bring in James Harden, bringing in a rookie, especially Amen Thompson, who doesn't really have a jumper, that's not going to help them. So they may move their pick is essentially what I'm saying to you. And then you're looking at the Orlando Magic. In the range that they're in, they probably like some of the pieces that they could pick up and bring themselves something, but they also have a lot of young talent themselves. Maybe they can move some young talent. Maybe not this pick, but like I suggested in another video, maybe they move some of them guards. Maybe they do move a Jalen Suggs or Cole Anthony. You can see them maybe shoring some things up, shaking some things up so that they can create space for what they're going to bring in. So that's intriguing. I don't know that they don't move one of their picks, given the fact that they do have 2 in that range between 5 and I think 11 they have. So maybe they can kind of shake some things around, maybe get up into the 3 range if they want to trade both of those picks, 2 for 1 and maybe something else. Someone suggested that Portland may look to trade their pick, number 3, to Indy, and then maybe have Indy give them 7 or whatever it is that Indy has, and maybe like their center, Miles Turner or something like that. So these are the type of things that are floating around that look possible. And because these teams are slotted in the positions they are versus the players that are on the consensus, which may not necessarily fit, you could see a lot of trades within the first 10 picks. Like the lottery could shake up a lot to where you see unprecedented amount of guys that are traded for each other or stuff like that. And I ultimately think some of these mainstay names are not going to end up on some of these teams. Scoot Henderson may end up a Clipper or something like that. Amen Thompson may end up on the Warriors or something like that. Because what I'm seeing is teams in a position to where you could trade some stars. You could trade some guys who have been struggling on bigger contracts and maybe get you one of these lottery picks. A guy like Jordan Poole could be on the move for something like that. I think about guys that in Philadelphia, they got a new situation there. Maybe they want to move some pieces around, try to change some things if James Harden's going out. Maybe they want something to come in that's a little more younger and on par with the timeline of Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. That's probably something they should be considering if they're not thinking that way. I look at a team like the Knicks, who have like 7 picks. They can do a lot of different things, not picks in this year's draft, but they can move around some of the future picks to get a higher pick in this draft. If they so desire to, not something that I necessarily think they will do, but the Brooklyn Nets, they have some guys that they could trade in this draft. Their picks could be available, maybe even pieces to get picks. I don't know what their direction is going to be, but they're a wild card. You look at the Washington Wizards with their new president. They may want to make some things happen. I don't know if they love the fact that they're at 8. Maybe they can trade a future pick coupled with the pick they have and get that third pick in the draft, and maybe bring in Scoot Henderson if he's available. These are things that I don't know if these GMs are thinking this way, but if you have future picks, a lot of times these guys are so quick to mortgage their future for existing superstars. But why not kind of trade some futures for picks that are of a higher standard this sooner, so you can expedite your rebuild with young prospects? I don't know if that makes sense monetarily. I don't know if that ultimately, I'm just brainstorming things that I ultimately think I have not seen. But that's something I would be thinking about doing if I want to expedite my process. If I got like a Wembanyama, a first round pick in 2028 is cool. But if I could take that pick and turn it into a first round pick in 2023 to match up with him, maybe I can put him together with somebody like Miller. The Houston Texans in football kind of got me thinking that way, to be honest with you. But if I'm some of these teams that need to rebuild, if I'm the Clippers, that's exactly what I want to do. If I'm the Clippers, I want to get both of Orlando's picks. I'm going to give you Paul George. Give me number 11. Give me number 5. And give me a future. And give me, I don't know, Cole Anthony. And I will send you Paul George. And whatever else will match the salaries with a third team involved. Maybe we could send some other stuff that way to make it make sense. So I ain't taking out no salary I don't want. Or something that doesn't, make me better in regards to my rebuild. But if I'm the Clippers, I'm blowing this thing up, and I'm going to have a whole new set of young talent. Some of the top dudes in this draft, I'm going to have both of them on the Clippers. And all that stuff that you're used to seeing in red, white, and blue ain't going to be there. Kawhi and George out. Guys like that, they got a lot of value right now. You could trade them for picks right now, and I would. I absolutely would. Pair Scoot Henderson and I don't know how I would do it, but I would find a way to get some of them young talent in there, man, and start getting the future going for some of these teams that are just in no man's land, ain't going nowhere fast. So that's where my head is, man. I really genuinely think that some of these teams should make a move. I look at the Boston Celtics, I'm like, Jaylen Brown is a highly touted player, that is a superstar at this point, that you could probably trade for one of the better picks in this draft. Portland should be very happy to trade the number 3 overall pick for Jaylen Brown, and whatever salary makes it make sense. They should be willing to do that. To bring Dame Lillard, Jaylen Brown, that gives them a good combination of timeline stuff, to where he's old enough to help Dame win, and he's young enough to keep this thing going when Dame's gone. Make you feel good about sending out a Scoot Henderson. Make you feel good about sending out a Brandon Miller. You still got Jaylen Brown going forward for 8-9 years. He's gonna play well. So that's kind of what I would be thinking, something like that. I don't know if I want to do that if I'm Portland, but if I'm gonna trade my 3rd overall pick, it's probably gonna be doing something like that. And if that's the case, then the Celtics would have somebody new to put next to Jason Tatum, maybe Brandon Miller, maybe Scoot Henderson, and you don't even skip a beat. You don't skip a beat. You got Scoot Henderson next to Marcus Smart. I can tell you right now, that's a tandem of guards that you don't want to deal with. That the power and the strength that them two are gonna be throwing at you defensively is a nightmare. And you add Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White to that whole situation. I mean, it's a nightmare. So if I'm the Boston Celtics, I'm gonna move on from Jaylen Brown, and I'm gonna find a way to make that trade with the Portland Trailblazers. So these are things I'm thinking about, man. I am not slowing down at all. If I'm the Utah Jazz, I'm in a great position to draft 2 picks. I got 2 lottery picks in this situation. I'm probably going to try to trade both of them picks, maybe bring myself something to make more sense to me. Maybe I like the timeline that we're on with these picks. I don't know, but I can get a better pick possibly. I don't know. It's endless. It's absolutely endless when you consider what these teams are capable of doing. OKC, same thing. With all the picks they have, they could combine picks and get better picks, or trade for a star, bring somebody to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think about guys in Toronto. Toronto could make some moves. They have some stars that people would be willing to trade first-round picks for. Think of a guy like OG Anunoby. You might be able to send him to Portland for the 3rd overall pick. You may be able to send him to Orlando for the 5th overall pick, that kind of thing. Or 6, whatever the heck they got. Yeah, it's 6, I believe it is. With Detroit going 5, and I think, yeah, Pacers 7, Washington 8. Speaking of Washington 8, guy in their range, I'm starting to be much more high on than I was last time I spoke his name. And his name is Anthony Black. I am much higher on Anthony Black right now than I was last time I told you guys that somebody was supposed to be drafted ahead of him. I don't think so. This is one of the best perimeter defensive players in the draft. He's huge. He's a point guard with passing gifts. Doesn't put a whole lot of pressure on the rim, but because he's huge, he can definitely rebound, block shots, guard interior players, exterior players. You do not want to belittle what this dude can put out there on the floor for the Washington Wizards if they were to draft him. And I'm not sure I wouldn't want to put him next to Tyrese Halliburton if I'm the Pacers. I know they have their eyes on Jarris Walker, and I think I'd probably take Jarris Walker over him anyway, just because of the physicality that Jarris brings to the table on both sides of the floor. Even though he's comparable to Taylor Hendricks, and some say Taylor is a little better than him offensively, so it's a lot of ambiguity there as to which one you should take, which leaves Anthony Black in a situation where if you need what Anthony is, you may be willing to take him before both of those guys if you don't need what they are. So I think there's a chance Anthony Black could go higher than people think. I would not be entirely surprised to see him go to the Pacers. I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see the Magic take a chance on him and ship out of the guards. Because at the end of the day, when you're talking about what he can be in a big lineup like what the Orlando Magic have, he could be the big guard that just makes them the biggest team in the league. Because that's what they're missing. They got everything but that leading guard who happens to be 6'8", who can also block shots along with the rest of that lineup. So I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, Orlando, they're in the range. Taylor Hendricks, you don't know if Ausar Thompson is somebody they'd be looking at. And that's somebody else who I think could possibly slip when you start thinking about Ausar Thompson, because it's like, okay, do I like him more than some of these names I just mentioned? I honestly don't think I do. I don't think I like him more than Jarris. I know I don't like him over Cam. And Hendricks, I don't think I like him over Hendricks either. You know what I mean? So it starts becoming a situation where it's like, is it between him and Black? And they both have some of the same similar strengths and weaknesses, even though Thompson's much more naturally athletic than Black. I really don't know who I like more so between him and Black. But the thing about it is Black is a point guard. Ausar is more like a wing. But he passes like crazy. He can pass, he can rebound, he can do things with the ball in his hands. So he's not quite like his brothers as it pertains to him being a traditional point guard like Black. And you definitely are taking Amen over Black out of sheer athleticism at that point guard spot. But the problem that you have with both of the Thompson twins, and I'm going to say this right now, neither one of them can shoot. Neither one of them have a reliable jump shot. And so if you're not willing to wait on either one of them, then you should probably not take either one of them. So the chances of those two slipping past some of these other names that I said is reasonable to me. It's reasonable to me. If for some reason Houston passes on Amen Thompson, I think it's a chance Amen could drop to 10. Him and his brother could both drop. I don't think anybody sees that coming. With athleticism like that, it probably is ill-advised, especially with Amen. But I'm telling you that Cam Whitmore's probably a more sure bet to hit a jumper. He can too play defense. He can too do a lot of the things that you absolutely want your player to do. I think I do have Amen ahead of him based on athleticism and passing ability. But Cam Whitmore is such a special athlete, such a power dunker, a Blake Griffin type, Sean Kemp type of dude, next level dunker, who really does play defense fantastically. So I'm not sure I have 5 people ahead of Cam Whitmore, including Amen Thompson. So it becomes a situation where who do you like more between those two? And then there are going to be people who say, well, Jarris Walker's a better defender than both of them. Some people are going to say, well, I prefer what Anthony Black can do from a more traditional standpoint. So it's like, I don't know that you are not going to see some very, very interesting shakeups if for some reason there aren't some early trades that ultimately make that happen. I've seen a mock draft now that has Scoot Henderson dropping to 4, simply because someone trades up to 3 just because they love Amen Thompson. So it's like these type of things can shake the whole draft up. If for some reason if someone's in love with getting Jarris Walker, some random team, maybe like the Bucks, decide they just want Jarris Walker for some reason, now you can see them saying, well, I can't for whatever reason get my the Magic pick. Maybe I can't pry loose the Rockets pick for whatever, we can't come to a deal, but I can get the number 3 pick from Portland for whatever reason. I can make a deal with that, and I will want the player I want, not necessarily the player in range. This is that draft, is essentially what I'm telling you. This is that draft to where I may end up messing up your draft just because this may be the best opportunity for me to get a player that I really love in that 5, 6, 7, 8 range. You know what I'm saying? I might mess your draft up. I don't really want Scoop, but I definitely want Taylor Hendricks. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of draft. So these are all players that I think it could potentially be all-stars. Every player I just named is probably going to make an all-star team in his career. And I'm not sure this ain't the deepest draft I've seen in a long time, from top to bottom. I'm not sure this ain't the most. You probably find more quality in this draft from top to bottom than probably you find it probably any other 5. You could pick 5 drafts in my lifetime, and I don't think you're gonna find this much quality in them. That's what I'm here to say. Because you got the Wembanyama, super duper world changing, once in a lifetime guy. But not only that, but you also got a bunch of dudes that would probably be in the top 5 in most years, in the top 12. Like in the top 12. They have been years that I legitimately think Amen Thompson would have been the first pick in the draft. There have been years where I legitimately think Cam Whitmore would have been the first pick in the draft. Absolutely easily. Like, this is that draft. You can legitimately say that you got a better prospect at the 7 range this year than you may be able to get in the 3rd pick next year. Like, this is just that draft. So, and in the 2nd round, into the back of the 1st round, you got guys that may project to be all-stars at the back of the draft if they fully develop. A guy like Ryan Rupert, I'm not sure he's not going to turn into an all-star. A guy like Kobe Brown, from what I've seen, you put him in the right system, he could be a huge Draymond-type piece, and he's not expected to go in the 1st round. You know, Podzinski, I don't know if I said his name correctly, but that looked like one of the best shooters out there. Hawkins, same thing. So it's like there's some real talent coming in, man. Defensive, offensive, excellent playmakers, shooters, rebounders, size guys, little guys who can defend, like stuff that you just been waiting for is coming into this draft. And over the last 5 years, the small forward position has went from scarce to now you have 5 and 6 of them on one team. This draft is going to give you an influx of more small forward, switchable guys that are all of good length and height. So, yeah, that whole small ball thing is getting less and less relevant, I think, in this upcoming era that we're walking into with these kids that are going to be just very, very, very big, man. So that's what I wanted to say, man. I've just been doing a lot of homework on these players as of late, and I just think that there could be some potential unprecedented shakeup in this draft based on what it is I'm looking at. Players just don't necessarily fit where they're projected to go. And, you know, you look at the Lakers and it's like, yeah, we could take somebody in our range, but I think it would be wise for the Los Angeles Lakers to keep their eyes open in regards to slippage. Because there's a good chance that who will be available to you will probably be one of them dudes that should not be available to you. So whoever it is that you're falling in love with in that range, keep an open mind about somebody else being there, and you may be having to slip past your guy or pass up on this guy and let him slip even further. I don't know which one it's going to be, you know, but it's going to be one of them. I'm telling you, Keontae George, Kobe Buffkin. I don't know which one of these dudes is going to slip, but somebody in that top from 10 to 15 range is probably going to be in our range, man. I'm telling you, because Lively's starting to push forward. Leonard Miller's stock is starting to rise. So some of them dudes that we've been seeing hovering that we thought weren't going to be available, they may be. Hood Schifino, he may slip. May be available for us at 17 after all. So these type of things I'm thinking about, I just want the Lakers to really consider. And, you know, for me, as I continue to think about the Thompson twins, I just think it's a weird possibility. a weird possibility that them dudes could slip. And it's just because of the inconsistency of their jump shot, coupled with the needs of the teams that are in the range that they're drafting in. I just find myself saying, I'm cool if I'm the Rockets. I'm cool if I'm Orlando, because I love this player that I'm looking at. I'm cool if I'm Detroit, because I got my eye on this player. And you start seeing possibilities of the Thompson twins just not getting taken. You start looking at Dallas, it's like, yeah, they're definitely going to take one of them. For sure. You look at Utah, it's like, if Hendricks is on the board, are they sure they're going to take? Like, I just don't know, man. There's a legitimate argument for the guys in the 5, 6, 7 range being more desirable than the guys at the 2 and 4 range. You know they're supposed to be better prospects, but those guys there just seem to fit in more situations to me, more so. You can fit those guys in more situations and potentially scoot Miller, whoever falls at 3, and Amin, who cannot shoot worth a damn, but is probably going to come in eventually and be the best athlete in all of basketball. And I mean that. He could legitimately be the best pure athlete in basketball. Him and Giannis, Zion. It's gonna be. Amin Thompson's gonna be one of them dudes, man. So passing on him doesn't seem smart, but you just have to wait on him. You must let him hatch like Giannis, and I don't think the Rockets are in the business of doing that. Like I said, the Pacers, I think they have their mind set on somebody. Jarvis Walker, I think they want that guy. I'm almost certain they want that guy. So, and Detroit is like, I don't know what they want. You know what I mean? It's up to them. They probably take him if he's there, but maybe they don't. Maybe they really love Whitmore. So it becomes a situation where it's like, yo, where's he going? So I'm not telling you that I've heard anyone say that the Thompson twins are going to slip. I'm just telling you that in my mind, that jump shot being a problem is a bigger problem than we're probably even assessing right now for some of the teams that are ultimately going to be having to use a top 4 pick, top 6 pick on them dudes. That's all I'm saying. I'm telling you, with shot making being at such a premium, and people talking about spacing and how difficult it is to put certain players in certain situations if they can't hit jump shots, people sagging off of people are hypersensitive to the idea of being sagged off of, having to go under screens on you, clogging the paint. Teams they're hypersensitive to that, and I sense it, man. I sense it, and I think the guys who can't hit a damn jumper, they gonna slip, man. They gonna slip. So that's just my prediction. That's pretty much the video that I have for you guys right now. Of course, I'm gonna get right back to what I was doing, which was studying up on all these players, because I've been having a blast doing that all day long. I've learned so much about these players in this range, and that I can tell you, the only thing I wish we had was more picks, because that's exactly the type of draft this is. So that's what I have for you. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.